Be a good boy,
she said softly, while in her head she was screaming, "Ugh, he's even worse in my dreams. Don't be mean, Levi." Levi no longer knew what to do. He was completely disarmed. After a long silence, during which they stared at each other, Levi finally asked her, "Do you still have feelings for me?" "Yes," Valentina replied with a smile.
"Is that true?"
Levi insisted. "Of course it's true," Valentina grumbled. "He's so annoying, even in my dreams," she thought.
"I hope you won't regret your decision,"
Levi thought before taking full control of the situation. Valentina woke up early in the morning, complaining of pain and wondering if someone had hit her. "Where am I?" she wondered. She turned and saw Levi sleeping peacefully beside her. She jolted, and suddenly the memories of the previous night came flooding back. "Oh my God, what have I done?" Valentina cried. "After he rejected my feelings, I told myself I would stay as far away as possible from that heartless man." The day before all this drama, Valentina had arrived at Cafe Vanilla with a confident stride and a clear goal: to confront two traitors. While the crowd admired her elegance and beauty, she walked toward a couple she knew well. "Jared, it's so hot. I want ice cream," Cece murmured.
"Yes, right away,"
Jared replied lovingly. Watching the scene, Valentina took a glass filled with ice-cold water and poured it all over the two lovebirds. Jared and Cece couldn't believe their eyes. Cece screamed at the top of her lungs, and Valentina threw the glass at her face to shut her up. "Are you still hot, Miss Bo?" Valentina asked sarcastically.
"What's wrong with you?"
Jared shouted.
"Even if you don't like Cece, you've gone too far."
Since she has the bad habit of taking what doesn't belong to her, I thought I'd offer her a drink to discourage her from stealing,"
Valentina said casually as she delicately grabbed Cece's hair. Suddenly, Valentina pulled Cece's hair hard, making her scream in pain. "No wonder your family disowned you. Let go of me right now," Cece yelled.
"Don't be so cruel,"
Jared shouted as he pulled Cece toward him, shoving Valentina aside.
"Cece and I are in love. Now that you know, you have to stop harassing us."
Valentina shook her hand, which Jared had just roughly grabbed. Without warning, she slapped him and ordered him never to touch her again with his hideous hands. Jared couldn't believe his eyes. Had he just been slapped by this woman? "How dare you!" Cece screamed, only to receive a warm reward as well.
"How dare you attack the heir of the Bo family?"
Cece asked in shock. "So what? Who isn't an heir?" Valentina replied.
"Look, Jared, she has no right to treat me like this,"
Cece shouted, as if urging her lover to act.
"If you have a problem, deal with me. Cece is innocent in all this,"
Jared said to Valentina.
"They say couples are like ships passing in the night,"
Valentina began.
"Spare me the drama. You two are more like the Titanic."
Jared told Valentina to act like an adult, especially in public, and said it would be best to settle things amicably.
"Amicably?"
Valentina scoffed.
"You're too busy licking her boots to speak. How long have you been together? Was it fear or stupidity that stopped you from breaking up with me?"
Moving dangerously close to the couple, Valentina added,
"Were you really so eager to jump into her arms that you couldn't break up with me first? Or was it just a pastime?"
"Did you hear what she just said, Jared?"
Cece shouted. "I wouldn't have strayed if you had stayed by my side instead of going to Beirut," Jared snapped.
"Were you a good girlfriend? Maybe the problem is you."
"That's true. I do have a problem,"
Valentina replied.
"My problem is that I'm too normal to understand the logic of crazy men like you."
Jared, furious, raised his hand.
"Go on. I dare you to hit me,"
Valentina said confidently. Jared hesitated, unable to go that far, especially in public.
"Cow,"
Valentina threw at him as she walked away.
"May the love story between the coward and the last forever."
"Move along. There's absolutely nothing to see here," Jared shouted at the gathered onlookers. A few minutes later, Valentina was with her friends. "You're really fearless, Val, confronting the two cheaters all by yourself," one friend said. "Why didn't you ask for help? You could have been hurt. They were the ones in the wrong. Why should I be afraid?" Valentina replied. "You're right, but a woman alone against a man and a woman," her friend began. "Have you ever seen me lose a fight?" Valentina asked proudly. No, her friend replied vigorously. Another friend said Valentina was really hot-headed, sharp-tongued, and knew how to defend herself. But things like this could easily get out of hand. "That's true," the other added. "Cece can be difficult. She might try to get revenge after you dumped ice water on her and slapped her like that."
"If she tries to get revenge, I'll take her cousin," Valentina said with a smile. Her two friends looked at her, puzzled by her devilish laugh, as she suddenly shouted, "Once I'm with Levi and he's on my side, Cece will never dare touch me again."
cousin. She'll have no choice but to respect me once I'm part of her family. Valentina apologized to her friends and headed to the restroom. They wondered among themselves if Valentina had drunk too much. Indeed, she would never say something like that otherwise. Valentina had once been madly in love with Levi, Cece's cousin. The three friends didn't know that just behind them sat Levi himself with his friends who had heard everything. One of Levi's friends told him he was lucky to have such a devoted admirer and asked how he felt about it. Levi said nothing, lost in thought.
She's really beautiful. Isn't she a great catch?
Another friend asked. Levi finished his drink in one gulp and stood up. One friend reminded him he had to meet Rowan first. Levi replied neutrally that he was just taking a break. Valentina came out of the restroom with a pounding headache. She knew she had gone too far this time. This is all that cheating couple's fault, she shouted. And to top it all off, he had to cheat on me with Cece. That's Cece. She's always hated me. Seriously, I'm speechless. Anyway, I should just let it go. She spotted a man who looked familiar. Why does this man look so much like him? She thought, completely captivated. Levi, leaning casually in the restroom lobby, sighed before turning toward her. Levi, are my eyes playing tricks on me? Valentina stumbled and was immediately caught by Levi, who told her to be careful. That voice, what is he doing here? She wondered. She thanked him and tried to leave, but Levi firmly grabbed her hand.
A little bird told me you wanted to go out with me.
Valentina wondered if he had heard her entire conversation with her friends. I was joking, she shouted, trying to run away.
Ooh, she's grown up,
Levi said with a smile. A few moments later, Levi returned to his table. Rowan had already arrived and apologized for being late.
I ran into my niece Valentina, so I invited her to join us.
Rowan continued. Valentina played shy, wearing a small smile and a calm expression, though inside she couldn't believe her friends had abandoned her at the sight of her uncle. Rowan introduced everyone and reminded Levi that he had given Valentina private lessons years ago. Valentina pretended not to be interested in the conversation, which made Levi smile. He knew her well. Rowan asked when she had returned. Last night, Valentina replied. Rowan scolded her for not telling him so he could pick her up at the airport and asked if her mother had allowed her to travel alone. Valentina said she was no longer a child and of course had her mother's permission. Rowan then launched into a long monologue. He had heard about her and Jared and said their personalities were incompatible. Jared was spoiled and indecisive. Valentina was rebellious and uncontrollable. Jared couldn't control her, and his mother was a control freak. Rowan doubted the marriage would have lasted. Valentina couldn't believe her uncle was talking about that bore like that. She glanced at Levi, who already had another full drink. One of the men asked Rowan to ease up. Valentina had just broken up, and things were already hard for her. Rowan calmed down and sighed. The conversation turned to business. Valentina quickly got bored and spent her time staring at Levi. Feeling her gaze, Levi turned. She quickly looked away and finished her drink as if nothing had happened. A single look from Levi made her so nervous she felt compelled to drink. A few moments later, she was already asleep. Rowan tried to wake his niece in vain. It was time to leave. His phone rang, and he had to go elsewhere for an emergency. Rowan asked Levi to take his niece home.
Why not let me take her instead?
One of Levi's friends asked.
You?
Rowan began.
I don't trust you with that at all.
Rowan entrusted Valentina to Levi and left immediately.
How do you plan to take her home?
Levi's friend asked.
She can't move on her own, so you'll have to carry her. I know you don't know much about women. Want me to show you how?
Levi completely ignored his friend's comments and went to cover Valentina, who was still sleeping soundly. He calmly carried her and headed for the exit under his friend's astonished gaze. A few minutes later, Levi settled Valentina into his car and ordered the driver to take them to Valentina's family residence. No, I don't want to go there, Valentina said in an almost muffled voice. Levi told her he was acting on her uncle Rowan's request. No, I don't want to go home. I refuse, Valentina shouted. I won't go home.
Then tell me, where do you want me to take you?
Levi asked her. I want to go to the hotel. Levi asked if she was sure about her choice. Valentina giggled timidly and said, then nothing. She fell asleep without finishing her sentence. Levi then told the driver to take them to the hotel. Valentina was in the middle of a dream, or rather a distant memory. Someone had hurt her, and she immediately ran to Levi in tears to complain about what had just happened to her. Levi, Ruff attacked me again. Look, it hurts. Levi replied coldly.
How does it concern me if he attacked you?
It concerns you because I love you, Valentina said.
But I don't love you,
Levi replied. You don't love me? Valentina said with a sad look. Valentina spoke in her sleep. I don't love you anymore. I won't feel anything for you anymore. Levi, hearing Valentina murmur, moved closer, wondering if she was having a nightmare. Valentina slowly opened her eyes and saw Levi. She thought she must be dreaming. Where am I? She asked.
At the hotel.
Levi replied. Valentina asked him what his intentions were in bringing her here. Levi reminded her of the state she had been in and adjusted the pillow to make her more comfortable. Charmed by his handsome face, Valentina told him she was perfectly fine. This is just a dream anyway, Valentina thought, as she naturally grabbed Levi's neck.
Val, stop.
Levi said, aware of what she was about to do. What? Valentina was upset and shocked.
It's late.
Levi said.
Rest. I have to go.
No, don't go, Valentina ordered, pulling him down toward her. The next day, Valentina asked herself countless questions. How did I get myself into a situation like this when Levi and I hadn't seen each other for 3 years? This is very bad. I have to get out of here quickly. She headed for the exit, but her legs were trembling so much that she hit a table. She didn't even have time to cry. Someone was already carrying her in his arms.
Careful. Couldn't you be more cautious?
Levi asked as he brought her back to the bed.
Are you okay?
He asked. I'm fine, and it's none of your business, Valentina snapped angrily.
Where are you hurt? Let me see.
He asked calmly. Don't touch me, you monster, Valentina screamed. You're nothing but a shameless pervert. I can't believe you're that kind of scum. Aren't you ashamed of yourself? Shocked, Levi calmly told her that he had done absolutely nothing without her consent, and that she herself had asked to be taken to the hotel. This is absolutely not the hotel I was talking about. I had already booked a room at the Glitz Hotel, not here. Levi apologized, deeply confused and aware of his mistake. You told me to stay with you, not to leave you, and you insisted so much that I didn't know what to do. Valentina covered his mouth to silence him and asked whether he was trying to put the blame on her to avoid all responsibility. You knew very well the state I was in, and you should know that you absolutely shouldn't believe everything I say in that condition. Why didn't you reject me? She asked at the end of her rope.
I was in the same state as you, and I couldn't restrain myself.
Levi said. What? Valentina couldn't believe her ears. I knew it, she thought. All men are the same. Even if they look like gentlemen, they always give in to temptation. Poor me.
If you want,
Levi began.
We can get married.
What did you just say? Valentina asked.
I said we can get married.
No, Valentina cried. We're both adults, and this is just a one-time adventure. You don't need to take it so seriously. There's no way it has to go that far. You're almost 30. We can surely leave things like this. Valentina was already starting to panic at the idea of marriage and continued her monologue. We're not in the past anymore. Why should we get married just because of this? Please, get with the times. As her laughter became nervous, Levi was left speechless. Anyway, I won't marry you, she concluded, completely embarrassed.
Very well,
Levi said, moving away from her.
I'll take a shower and then take you home.
Valentina watched Levi leave and waited until he locked himself in the bathroom. Perfect. I have to get out of here quickly. I'm done with him, and I never want to see him again. She tried to get up and noticed that her dress was in shreds. Levi, you're a monster, she thought. Valentina had no choice but to wait for him to finish his shower. As soon as he came out, she wanted to yell at him, but was stopped by what she saw. Whoa, now I understand the state he put me in, she thought, embarrassed. She hit her head a few times to wake herself up and shouted at him. You tore my dress! How am I supposed to get out of here like this?
Why don't you wear one of my outfits?
Levi asked.
So you planned everything, Valentina shouted.
We're in your private suite. I bet he planned everything on purpose. You talked about going to the hotel, Levi began.
But I couldn't take you just anywhere. You're safer here.
Safer my eye, Valentina snapped. How could I have believed he was the perfect man? He's the complete opposite. I'm going to take a shower, she said angrily, and I want new clothes and body care products. Ah, this girl. In the bathroom, Valentina let out a sigh and looked at Levi's products. They're all men's products. It's possible I'm the first woman to stay the whole night, she thought. Why are you so happy about that? Get a grip, girl. Levi's assistant arrived at the door of Levi's suite with the order. He couldn't help being surprised by his employer's request. There's anti-inflammatory cream for bruises in the order, he thought. I really underestimated Mr. Bow when it comes to women. Levi asked him to wait downstairs and was about to return to the room when he ran into Valentina's uncle.
Well, well, why didn't you go home?
Rowan asked, puzzled to find him at the hotel.
I got back late last night.
You should go rest, Tanya, Rowan said to the woman beside him.
I'll take a shower at Levi's before heading to the meeting.
Tanya greeted Levi and left. Levi greeted Tanya politely and thought that he would always consider her a member of the family even after her divorce. Rowan immediately headed toward Levi's suite, but Levi blocked his way.
What's the problem?
Rowan asked.
Well,
Levi began.
this isn't a good time.
Rowan noticed the bag Levi was holding and understood the situation.
Those must be women's products,
He thought, so he was just pretending not to be interested in women after all.
Okay, I'm leaving.
Rowan said. Levi sighed in relief. Rowan turned back and said he had forgotten to ask where Levi had left his niece Valentina the night before.
At the hotel.
Levi replied. Rowan turned around furiously and said, "Didn't I personally ask you to take her to the family home? What a spoiled child. Wait, I'll call her right now." Rowan made the call, but strangely, a phone rang in the next room. Levi had absolutely no idea what to say and kept his head down. He was so nervous, but Rowan didn't understand the situation. After a few seconds, Rowan ended the call and said that his niece hadn't answered. He assumed she was probably still sleeping. Levi insisted that Rowan leave as quickly as possible when a voice suddenly rang out. "That scared me. I just received a call from Uncle Rowan." Valentina came out of the shower without knowing what was going on outside. "Levi, you even tore my bra. You're a monster." Valentina finally lifted her head and saw that her uncle was there.
Hold it right there.